This actress now has two completely disparate roles. Gloria from the Modern Family, a sexy and fun-loving housewife, and Griselda, a savvy and ambitious businesswoman. The only thing that they share in common is that both characters, just like Sofia Vergara herself, come from Colombia. This new Netflix series tells a real story of Griselda Blanco, a drug lord known as the godmother of cocaine in the 1970s in Miami, US. She's ruthless, she's highly ambitious, and she's also a single mother to her 4 sons. One of her sons was named Michael Corleone, an homage to the Godfather movies.
All right, Ksenia, so you used some really nice vocabulary there at the start. So you said that she has two completely disparate roles. What does that mean?
Disparate, that's actually a new word that I'm trying to learn myself. That's why I use it, use the words you're learning right away. So disparate means completely different.
Which is a perfect word choice, right? Because this is so different from the role she played famously in Modern Family.
Exactly.
You said that she's a savvy and ambitious businesswoman. What does it mean if someone is savvy?
Savvy is knowledgeable. So you have the knowledge to make the right decisions. There is another word, tech savvy. So you're really knowledgeable, have great knowledge of technology.
Right. That's like a collocation, right? Or computer savvy. Like all the basic programs that you need to be able to navigate using a computer. All right. You said that this character, Griselda, is ruthless. What does that mean if someone is ruthless?
Without mercy. So she's really cruel, demanding, that's type of person.
And finally, you said that one of her sons was named Michael Corleone, an homage to the Godfather movies. What's an homage?
An homage is just like honoring, right? Honoring a person. And you can also say to name after someone, right?
Like I'm named after my grandfather, my grandmother, my aunt.
Today we're learning English with Griselda. You will now watch the clip from the movie, but take a moment to get yourself prepared to learn some new English vocabulary. First, you'll watch the clip with subtitles. Then you'll learn some of the most important vocabulary and connected speech from this scene. And finally, there comes a comprehension test and no subtitles. Now you have 3 seconds to do these 3 simple but important things. Subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Hit that bell down below to get a notification when a new lesson is published. And give this video a like to create a positive atmosphere for today's class.
I have an uncut kilo and I don't give a fuck who buys it.
You Colombian?
Good ear. You sound like a gringo.
No. I came here as a kid from Venezuela. See, my dad was a cop and he didn't like the politics over there, so...
Cop? What does he think about all of this?
Well, his kid is living the American dream and he's driving a brand new caddy, so...
Source from Caquetá. You can still smell the jungle when you eat it. I smuggled a kilo in my son's suitcase.
Son's suitcase.
He's 11. Smarter than Johnny, but as much of a pain in the ass.
Now that's hard to do.
30 grand. But for the cop's son, 25.
Honey, listen. You need to understand that my business runs on volume, right? So what am I gonna do with 1 kilo, huh?
All right, so we just saw Griselda after she just arrived in Miami from Colombia. She has nothing. No money, no place to call home, no business context. But to get by until she stands on her own feet, she's trying to sell this 1 kilo of cocaine she brought from Colombia in her son's suitcase.
So this was a really nice phrase. Like, what does it mean to get by until you can stand on your own feet?
To get by is to survive, to make ends meet. That's another expression we can use. To be able to survive, to pay her bills, to eat. And in her case, she's a mom, provide for her sons. And until she stands on her own feet, until she's able to fully support herself and her family by herself.
Become independent, right? Would be another way to say that.
Yeah, that's it.
There was some really nice vocabulary from the scene. So there's going to be some vulgar language, as you've already seen in the scene, but I don't give a fuck who buys it. What does it mean if you don't give a fuck?
It means you don't care, right? It doesn't matter who buys that 1 kilo, right? You just need to sell it.
It's a very emphatic way to say it because you're using the F word there, right?
Yeah, she is talking to a drug dealer, so it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Because she's a non-native speaker, oftentimes, something I've observed even for myself in speaking other languages, we don't have the same attachment that we do in our native language to the curse words. So it's easier for us to use them in another language, but maybe we're lacking some tact in doing so. All right, next there's a nice grammatical point here. So he doesn't say, are you Colombian? He actually cut out the auxiliary verb there, right?
This is something that happens a lot with natives, right? When they are asking a question, these auxiliary verbs are dropped, especially at the beginning, right?
Do you like TV series? So it's really important to pay attention to the intonation to notice that it's a question and not a statement. So he's not saying, you're Colombian. He's saying, you Colombian?
And this is a good example of something that you only catch when you watch stuff, right? Because you would probably never get that from a textbook or traditional course book.
Guys, what does she mean when she says good ear? Did she like his ears?
He understands easily. He was able to listen to her and figure out that she was from Colombia. So he had a good ear for the accent that she had.
Then she says, you sound like a gringo. Maybe she's saying that because he also looks like maybe he could be from South America or something like that, but he has an American accent.
And then he explains, I came here as a kid from Venezuela. So here's a pronunciation point, right? We don't hear this sound h, yeah, the H letter makes. I came here, not I came here as a kid, right? And Tiago, you know, you're a fan of Hollywood blockbusters, American movies. What is to live an American dream?
Yeah, we usually use this phrase to refer to being successful in America, in the US, meaning that you have a lot of status, power, money, maybe a beautiful house with a beautiful wife or a beautiful husband and a nice car in the garage. So yeah, you have made it in America, let's say. You are living the dream.
And speaking of cars, he mentions a car that he has, the brand new Caddy. So what's a Caddy?
Yeah, that's a short form for Cadillac, which is a very expensive and comfortable car that was manufactured in the US, especially in that decade, the late 70s, early 80s.
Even up to the 90s, but I'd say nowadays it's lost a lot of its status as being a car that cool, successful people drive. Nowadays might be more of a Tesla. You know, you see someone swinging around in their Tesla. All right, she says the cocaine is sourced from Caqueta. What does it mean if something is sourced from somewhere?
She means that it was obtained there, right? So the cocaine was from that area. It was obtained there, sourced. Here, it's used like a verb to be sourced. But a source is a place where you get it, right?
Or a person who gave you information.
Right.
She said that she smuggled the cocaine. What does that mean, to smuggle something?
To smuggle means to bring illegally. And that was somewhat, I don't know, funny and not funny at the same time that she smuggled it in her son's suitcase, right?
Poor kids.
There was even another scene. I don't know if you guys remember. There was another scene where a bunch of women came from Colombia and they were smuggling cocaine inside their bras. Remember that?
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it shows in the first episode, I guess.
very creative. And I wonder how they could pull that off, because nowadays it seems like they make a thorough checkup at the airport, right? You wouldn't be able to do that nowadays.
It's really challenging. When I flew into the States last time, they had this setup. When you were going in the line to go through security, before there was this place where you had to walk 2 and 2. So they took 2 people at a time to walk. And in the opposite direction came a cop and a drug dog, one of those ones that's trained to smell the drugs. And there was a fan blowing so that like I guess the smell of any drugs in your luggage would be easier for the dog to pick up. So don't try smuggling cocaine at home, kids.
There you go.
She says that her son is a pain in the ass. What does that mean?
A pain in the butt, a pain in the ass, a pain in the neck. It means you are annoying.
And 30 grand? What is grand?
It's a slang for money. So 30 grand is 30,000.
So in fact, in the States, there's a candy bar called a 100 grand bar. That's really famous because it's loaded with all this gooey, yummy goodness. So I guess it's almost as good as 100 grand in your pocket, but it costs like $1.
Oh, I just wanted to ask you, does it cost that much? Thiago, there is this expression, when he talks about his business, he says that it runs on volumes. What does it mean to run on volumes?
Yeah, in large quantity, because, she's just trying to sell him 1 kilo, but he's saying to her, hey, I don't deal with 1 kilo. I deal with volume, right? Runs on volume, like, I sell large quantities of Coke.
And to run in the context of business means to operate, yeah?
Mm-hmm. And I also noticed there he didn't say all right. He said more of a slangy "ite." Sometimes you'll hear in fast American speech.
And talking about connected speech, there is this phrase, so what am I gonna do with 1 kilo? Yeah? He pronounces, what am I gonna do? Yeah? So what becomes, the sound t in what becomes the flap t, like d, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
And I think that's a really great one to actually drill because you'll use it in so many situations. What am I going to do?
I hope you're enjoying the lesson so far. Look, you need to download the Real Life English app because you do want to remember the words you're learning today, right? Why do you want to remember the words? Because then you can understand your favorite movies and series and fast-speaking natives better. And you can also speak English using real-life language. And to help you achieve that, for this lesson you're watching now, we created a deck of flashcards that you can use to memorize and review this new vocabulary. The flashcard has a definition, an example sentence, the audio file for pronunciation, and also an image to help you better memorize the word. And the system will adjust to your needs. The more difficult words will appear more frequently than the words you already know. Right after this lesson, go to Real Life English app to try it out yourself. If you haven't yet installed it on your smartphone, go grab the download link in the description to this video or go to Google Play or Apple App Store and search for Real Life English app. And guys, we did a lesson in the past with Sofia Vergara where we were talking about fluency in English and still having a thick accent like she does. Being fluent in English doesn't mean to speak perfectly. And you can see it with Sophia's example. She's not trying to change herself or to give up and change her profession to be out of the spotlight. She embraces who she is, how she sounds, and she's always ready for the opportunities that may come. And in this interview that we invite you to watch with us today, she's talking exactly about that, how to be ready for the opportunity when it comes.
I'm gonna be honest with you, maybe if it happened like that, I'm never thinking about those things. Those are not the things that I'm looking at. I'm looking out for opportunities to be, to be ready for opportunities. If someone needs someone like me, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna be ready. I'm sure they have told me no a million times, and not every single project that I want to do, they tell me yes to, or, maybe I've had a lot of problems, not from being a woman, but because I have this stupid accent. In Hollywood, it's not easy to blend in when you sound like this. So I have a lot of, problems like everybody else. I just don't focus on them. I just move on. What's the next thing? What can I do? Okay, if this doesn't work for me, let's find something else. I don't get stuck on those things because I don't think I would have made it anywhere, with insecurities about being, a voluptuous woman that people think that you're just a dumb girl, or because I sound like I'm crazy with this accent. I don't think about that. I just keep doing until I find someone that believes me or that I confuse them.
Yeah, so Sofia Vergara is one of those people that's living proof that you don't have to have an American accent. You don't have to have a native accent in order to be successful with the language. Another really great one, I just heard an interview recently with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He talked about exactly this, that his accent ended up actually being something that was like a calling card for him, something that was an aid to his fame, not something that hindered it. So one thing I know Spanish speakers do a lot is they'll say words like no. We don't have this true oh. In American English, in British English, they do, like, they'll say dog, and we say dog. So we always change that. So Spanish speakers do have that, and they'll say often a no, like they would in Spanish, instead of no, like we would with that O sound.
But even though she does have a thick accent, she uses some nice connected speech here in this clip. I'm gonna be, wanted, I would have made it.
That's really an interesting point, because you can have an accent but still use some of these things that help you to sound more fluent and natural speaking the language, right?
Exactly.
And it seems like she really practiced with those, and those are like common collocations, right? So she used it a lot, so she sounds perfectly.
So Ksenia, she said that in Hollywood it's not easy to blend in when you sound like she does. What does it mean to blend in somewhere?
Become a part of the surrounding. And here in this context, she means that it's difficult to be accepted as similar to that community, to Hollywood community.
And there's a nice expression that means the opposite, which is to stick out like a sore thumb. So that means that if anyone's ever like slammed their thumb in a door or anything like that, it gets all red at the end of it, right? So it's something that's very obvious to see that, oh my God, what happened to your thumb? She says that she doesn't get stuck on those things. What does it mean if you get stuck on something?
She doesn't let these things, these insecurities, block her or prevent her from doing what she needs to do.
Yeah, and if we think of it in a literal sense, to get stuck is just like physically not be able to move. And that's the same when we're talking about some psychological stuff. Yeah, you're stuck, you can't think. Yeah, you're
Make
lost.
progress, right? You can't make progress. Yeah.
She said she wouldn't have made it anywhere with insecurities. So what does it mean if you make it somewhere?
To make it is the phrase meaning to achieve success, to become successful.
That's a really good point, is that if she weren't confident in herself, even if she had tried to pursue a career in acting in Colombia, she wouldn't have been successful, right?
And there is this interesting grammatical point, guys, and I wanted to ask you, Thiago, to explain it for our viewers, listeners. Would have made it, she says, I don't think I would have made it anywhere with insecurities.
It's a perfect conditional, and it's usually used in combination with the third conditional. And we even discussed this structure a while back, right, Ksenia? If I had something, or if I had done something, I would have made it. I would have done this. So it's a hypothesis about something in the past. So she's just imagining what her past would have been like if she had listened to her insecurities.
And what are insecurities?
Lack of confidence. Yeah, you don't believe in yourself. You're not that confident in your skills and your abilities.
She uses a couple descriptions there for people's perceptions of her, that she's a voluptuous woman, a dumb girl. What does that mean, voluptuous, dumb?
So if you can imagine a well-shaped woman like an hourglass, that's the word to describe. But I don't know, I think I would prefer another word. Ethan, would you, I don't know, recommend a better word for voluptuous woman?
Voluptuous, it's a positive word. It has a positive connotation. Similar to curvy, but curvy sounds, curvy doesn't sound, that sounds more negative, right?
What about this word curvaceous?
Is that a word, curvaceous?
I found this word and it says that it has the same meaning as having good shapes.
It sounds like slang, like someone would say like, cool man, psychedelic, curvaceous.
So now we know that voluptuous is a positive word, so you can use it.
And dumb, so that's like thumb, that it has a silent B. It's not dumb, it's dumb. What does it mean if you say someone is dumb? That's it. I think that Sofia Vergara people assume that because she has the body that she has, because she looks like she does, that she must not be very intelligent. But obviously she's been brilliant with how she's managed her career, with how she's been able to achieve so much success in the United States.
And I have to say that this role that she plays as Griselda, I really believe that was really defining for her career. I think from now on, that is going to take her to other projects, other different places, when it comes to filming.
So let's watch the scene and the interview again without subtitles so that you can test your listening and see how much you've learned today.
I have an uncut kilo and I don't give a fuck who buys it.
You Colombian?
Good ear. You sound like a gringo.
No. I came here as a kid from Venezuela. See, my dad was a cop and he didn't like the politics over there, so...
Cop? What does he think about all of this?
Well, his kid is living the American dream and he's driving a brand new caddy, so...
Source from Caquetá. You can still smell the jungle when you eat it. I smuggled a kilo in my son's suitcase.
Son's suitcase.
He's 11. Smarter than Johnny, but as much of a pain in the ass.
Now that's hard to do.
30 grand. But for the cop's son, 25.
Honey, listen. You need to understand that my business runs on volume, right? So what am I gonna do with 1 kilo, huh?
I'm gonna be honest with you, like, maybe if it happened like that, I'm never thinking about those things. Those are not the things that I'm looking out. I'm looking out for opportunities to be, to be ready for opportunities. If someone needs someone like me, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna be ready. I'm sure they have told me no a million times, and not every single project that I want to do, they tell me yes to, or, maybe I've had a lot of problems, not from being a woman, but because I have this stupid accent. In Hollywood, it's not easy to blend in when you sound like this. So I have a lot of, problems like everybody else. I just don't focus on them. I just move on. What's the next thing? What can I do? Okay, if this doesn't work for me, let's find something else. I don't get stuck on those things because I don't think I would have made it anywhere, with insecurities about being, a voluptuous woman that people think that you're just a dumb girl, or because I sound like I'm crazy with this accent. I don't think about that. I just keep doing until I find someone that believes me or that I confuse them.
So there you have it, guys. Griselda. It's a great TV show. I have been enjoying it a lot. Sofia Vergara is great in it. And if you are a fan of Sofia Vergara, check out this next lesson.
To have people laugh in my face because I'm struggling to find the words? You should try talking in my shoes from 1 mile.
I think you meant.
I know what I meant to mean. Do you even know how smart I am in Spanish? Of course you don't. For once, it would be nice to speak to someone in my own language, in my own home.